Nobody decides to live an ordinary life. Or can you imagine an 18-year-old saying, I hope one day that I wake up wondering where all the years went? No. There's no couple that stands at the altar dreaming that they slowly become strangers, or an entrepreneur that starts a business hoping to become trapped inside of it. There's no parent that holds a newborn thinking, man, I hope this all goes by so fast that I barely remember it. It's ridiculous. Yet every day people wake up living a life they never really intentionally chose. And it rarely happens in one dramatic moment. No, it happens quietly, one ordinary Tuesday at a time, one postponed conversation, one delayed dream, one more year of saying, I'll focus on that when things slow down. Then one day you look around and realize you've become incredibly busy building a life that you never stopped to design. Have you ever found an old photograph of yourself and then instantly, as you're looking at it, you're transported right back to that season of life? You start remembering where you lived, what mattered, what kept you awake at night, what you dreamed about. It's pretty remarkable how easily we can recognize an older version of ourselves. That's the easy part. Yet, very few of us ever stop long enough to meet the future version of ourselves. The person that we're becoming often remains a stranger. And that's what the 10-year letter gave to me. It created a conversation that almost never happens. It introduced me to the man that I wanted to become long before I became him. So now, looking back, I see something else. When I wrote my first letter, what I was really doing is reclaiming authorship over my life. And that really helped me because I stopped thinking about the future as somewhere that I hope to arrive someday. No, authorship is ownership. So I started thinking like an author, right? Every page begins with the same thing, a blank page. Before the first chapter exists, before the ending has ever been written, the author decides what story is worth telling. And each page serves that story. Life works in the same way. Calendars are great at organizing appointments, but they don't create purpose. You can have an incredibly full schedule and still feel disconnected from the life that you're building. That's why the 10-year letter has never been another goal-setting exercise. No, it's an exercise about authorship. Authoring a future that you're excited to wake up to. And the letter is the decision. The decision to pick the pen back up. Somewhere along the way, many of us slowly hand the pen to everything else around us. That's what I did years ago. And then fear writes a chapter, comfort writes another chapter, expectations quietly write several more chapters. And before long, you're living inside a story that feels strangely disconnected from the person you hope to become and the life that you wanted to live. And the tragedy isn't that someone else took the pen. No. The tragedy is that you never realized you handed it over in the first place. That's why one sentence has become the foundation to everything that I believe. Authorship is ownership. Authors accept responsibility for the story and the life that they're creating before the story is finished. Ownership doesn't begin with results. It doesn't. Ownership begins with direction. The moment you pick the pen back up, your decisions begin serving your story and your life instead of your circumstances. And then you stop asking, what do I have to do today? That question is exhausting. and you start asking, who do I get to become today? Or who am I becoming today? That is a completely different way to live. And one of my favorite ahas in all of this is that midnight simply does not end another day. Midnight publishes another page. You can't rewrite yesterday's page, but you have complete authority over today. And every sunrise quietly asks the same question: what will today's page say about the person that you are becoming? And the beautiful thing about authors is that they don't control every plot twist. Storms still come, businesses still fail, diagnosis still happens, hearts get broken, plans get changed. Every meaningful story contains conflict. The author isn't the person who avoids difficult chapters. The author decides what those chapters will mean. The author decides what kind of character emerges because of those chapters. That's why authorship isn't about control. It is about ownership. Who is writing the life you'll be living 10 years from now? Because 10 years is never built 10 years at a time. It's built one page at a time, one courageous conversation, one decision, one act of integrity, one investment in your health, one evening fully present with your family, one intentional day after another until you wake up years from now, living a life that feels deeply connected because you didn't actually accidentally arrive there. You chose to author it. Tonight, sometime around midnight, another page of your life will be published. And you don't get to decide whether another page is written. You only get to decide who writes it. Write a future you are excited to live.